It's the end of 2021. 2022 is coming up. This is the time where we start making New Year's resolutions and we start planning for the new year. What are your wealth building plans for 2022? My name is Sean Price with the Price Group here at eXp Realty. And I want to talk to you for a minute about options as far as wealth building strategies. We've seen over the last year and a half, we've seen significant increase in home values. So for homeowners, those of you who own a home, if you have equity in your home right now, it has grown dramatically in the last 12 months. So are you thinking along the lines of an investor, or are you thinking along the lines of a consumer? If you're thinking along the lines of an investor, then you look at that equity that you've built up and you ask yourself, how can I make this money perform better for me? How can I get the most return on that cash? Investors in real estate, quite often, when we look at a property, as the debt gets paid down, we want to see what that equity in that debt, how it's performing and what kind of return it's giving us. And you'll hit a point where you're not getting the return on that equity, so you'll refi that property, pull that equity out and put it into another investment. So that's what we're talking about here. If you had a $500,000 property in January of 2021, you now have a property that's probably worth $550,000 to $560,000. If you'd already paid that property down quite a bit, you might have $100,000, $200,000 in equity sitting there. So what are you strategically doing with that? There's a few options. You can always just refi. We had a client that refinanced their home. They had about 18 years left on their payment. They did a refinance with a lower interest rate, and they were actually able to do a 15-year mortgage with the lower interest rate, and their payments dropped by about $150 a month, saving them close to $1,800 a year. And then they also knocked off 3 months of their payments, so they're saving $1,800 a year for 15 years, and they knocked off 3 years worth of payments because they went from 18 years down to a 15-year. And I think that the total savings that they were going to have on that was about $75,000 to $80,000. So if you look at it from a strategic perspective and you look at it from a long-term perspective with regards to the cost of a loan over the long term, you might have a strategic advantage there. So one of the options is a refi to a lower rate to save you on your monthly expenses, or a refi even to a 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year with a lower interest rate, and see what that saves you. Option number two, you could get a HELOC on your property. Get a home equity line of credit, and then go out and look for investment properties, use that home equity line of credit as your down payment, and then use what we call the BRRRR strategy, where you buy the property, you rehab the property, you rent it, then you refinance it, so you pull your money back out and you pay off the HELOC, and now you have a cash flowing property, and then you repeat it, the last R in BRRRR: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. So you take that new HELOC and you go and you buy another property. So you could actually start building an investment portfolio with that simple one home equity line of credit and the equity that you've got built up in your property. So that's an option. Another option is a cash out refi. Let's say you've got $100,000 equity in your property. You could refinance the property, get yourself at a lower interest rate, probably not have much higher of a payment, if any, and then take that cash, that $100,000, and take that and invest that in a property. So there are several strategies that you can use to get the best return on your investment. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot a video on each individual strategy, and I'll put that together as a series on YouTube, and you're welcome to go in and learn more about it. But these are just some strategies that you can look at. If you have cash in your bank that you want to consider investment properties, that's always a good idea. It's really difficult to find cash flowing properties up here in Northern Virginia right now because of prices doing what they're doing. But we have multifamily opportunities. We have opportunities in Florida that can cash flow for you. We have all kinds of opportunities. So one of the goals to sit down for 2022 is determine what is your wealth building strategy and what's the best way to go about achieving those goals. If you have any questions for me, or if you would like to set up a 15-minute consultation where we could sit down and just kind of talk about your goals and see what strategies might work for you, more than happy to do that at no charge, and would love to sit down and brainstorm. I love talking about these strategies. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know. Keep an eye out for the upcoming videos explaining each one of these strategies in a little more detail, and we will talk to you soon.